Walk into any UK supermarket right now, and you're surrounded by food that claims to be healthy. But here's what the labels won't tell you. 9 of them actually deliver on that promise, backed by science most shoppers never hear about. What we discovered next will change how you shop forever. Every week, millions of British shoppers fill their baskets hoping they're making healthy choices. But between misleading marketing and confusing labels, it's nearly impossible to know what's genuinely worth buying. This isn't about expensive superfoods shipped from distant lands. These are everyday items sitting on the shelves at Tesco, Sainsbury's, Aldi, and Lidl right now. Items with real science behind them, items that cost less than you think, and items that actually work. By the end of this investigation, you'll know exactly which 9 foods deserve a permanent place in your basket. For decades, British shoppers have been told what's healthy by whoever shouts loudest. One year it's low-fat, the next it's high-protein, then it's plant-based, then it's Mediterranean, then it's something else entirely. The truth is far simpler, and it's been hiding in plain sight. Scientists have spent years studying foods that consistently improve health across populations, from Japan to the Mediterranean to Scandinavia. Not fad diets, not trendy ingredients. Just ordinary foods that deliver measurable results in blood work, longevity studies, and clinical trials. But here's the problem. Most UK shoppers never hear about these findings. They're buried in academic journals, hidden behind paywalls, or simply never make it to the shelves of your local supermarket in recognizable form. Until now. What follows is the result of months of research, and it starts with something you've probably walked past 100 times. We started by analyzing nutrition databases, clinical studies, and food availability across major UK supermarkets. The goal was simple. Find foods that meet 3 criteria: scientifically proven health benefits, widely available in the UK, and affordable for the average household. What we found was shocking, not because these foods are exotic or expensive, but because they're so ordinary that most people ignore them completely. Take frozen vegetables, for instance. UK shoppers spend millions on fresh produce that wilts within days, unaware that frozen alternatives often contain higher nutrient levels. Why? Because they're flash frozen within hours of harvest, locking in vitamins that fresh produce loses during transport and storage. Or consider tinned fish. While fresh salmon costs £6 to £8 per fillet, tinned mackerel delivers nearly identical omega-3 levels for under £1 per tin. Yet it sits neglected in the canned goods aisle, dismissed as cheap or inferior. The pattern repeated across every category we examined. The healthiest options weren't the ones with the prettiest packaging or the highest price tags. They were the ones quietly doing the work, backed by decades of research, available in every postcode, and priced within reach of pensioners and families alike. But as we dug deeper, something even more concerning emerged. Many shoppers actively avoid these foods, not because they don't work, but because clever marketing has convinced them to buy something else entirely. Here's what the food industry doesn't want you to know. The healthiest foods in UK supermarkets are also the least profitable. There's no margin in tinned sardines or frozen broccoli. So instead, manufacturers push products with health claims that sound impressive, but deliver little. Let's start with oats. A 1 kilogram bag of porridge oats at Tesco costs around £1.30. It's rich in beta-glucan, a fiber proven to lower cholesterol and stabilize blood sugar. Peer-reviewed studies show that eating oats daily reduces heart disease risk by up to 20%. Yet walk down the cereal aisle and you'll find dozens of heart-healthy breakfast options at 3 times the price, loaded with added sugars and delivering a fraction of the benefit. Or take natural yogurt. A plain 500 grams pot costs around £1.50 and contains live probiotics that support gut health, immunity, and even mental well-being. Clinical trials link regular yogurt consumption to lower rates of obesity, diabetes, and inflammation. But step into the chilled aisle, and you're surrounded by flavored yogurts marketed as healthy, packed with added sugars that completely undermine the benefits. The same pattern appears in oils. Extra virgin olive oil, rich in polyphenols and oleic acid, has been shown in Harvard studies to reduce mortality risk by up to 19%. A decent 500 milliliter bottle costs £6 to £15 at Aldi or Lidl. Yet shoppers are steered toward light or refined versions, which strip away the compounds that deliver the health benefits, simply because they're cheaper to produce and marketed more aggressively. Then there's the issue of processing. Whole foods like lentils, chickpeas, and brown rice sit on UK shelves for pennies per serving, backed by mountains of evidence linking them to reduced cancer risk, better blood sugar control, and longer lifespans. But because there's no brand loyalty in bulk lentils, manufacturers push pre-seasoned pouches at 4 times the cost, adding sodium and preservatives that negate the health benefits. The most shocking finding came when we examined dark chocolate. Real dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa, is packed with flavanols that improve brain function, blood flow, and even skin health. Studies show daily consumption enhances cognitive performance and lowers insulin resistance. You'll find quality bars at Tesco or Sainsbury's for £2.50. But the vast majority of chocolate sold in the UK is milk chocolate, marketed as a treat with no health claims, yet occupying 10 times the shelf space. Why? Because sugar is addictive, cheap, and drives repeat purchases. Real dark chocolate, the kind that actually benefits your body, is relegated to the specialty section where fewer shoppers venture. One by one, the pattern became undeniable. The foods with the strongest scientific backing, the ones that could genuinely improve public health, were being systematically buried, outmarketed, and outsold by products not to nourish, but to profit. So which brands can you actually trust? Let's cut through the noise. For oats, stick to basics. Tesco own brand porridge oats, Quaker oats, or Mornflake all deliver the same beta-glucan content at under £2 per kilo. Avoid instant oat sachets with added sugars, no matter how convenient they seem. For yogurt, look for natural or Greek yogurt with live cultures. Yo Valley, Rachel's Organic, and Tesco Finest are solid choices at £1.50 to £3 per pot. If the ingredient list includes anything beyond milk and live cultures, put it back. For olive oil, extra virgin and cold-pressed are non-negotiable. Filippo Berio, Napolina, and supermarket-owned brands at Aldi or Lidl all work, provided the label clearly states extra virgin. Expect to pay 6 to 15 ounces for 500 milliliters. Anything cheaper is likely refined and stripped of benefits. For tinned fish, look for mackerel, sardines, or salmon in water or olive oil. John West, Prince's, and supermarket-owned brands are all fine at under £1.50 per tin. Avoid anything in sunflower oil or brine, which adds unnecessary fats or sodium. For dark chocolate, Green and Black's 70% or 85% Lindt Excellence and Divine all meet the 70% cocoa threshold at £2.50 to £4 per bar. If the label says dark but lists sugar as the first ingredient, it's not the real thing. The rule is simple. Ignore the marketing, read the ingredients, and choose the simplest option available. If you've been shopping based on what catches your eye or what's on promotion, you've been spending more and getting less. The food industry profits from confusion, and UK shoppers pay the price in both money and health. Let's be practical. A weekly shop built around these 9 foods: oats, natural yogurt, olive oil, tinned fish, lentils, dark chocolate, frozen vegetables, brown rice, and eggs, costs significantly less than a basket full of branded cereals, flavored yogurts, and ready meals. Yet it delivers exponentially more nutrition. A 1 kilogram bag of lentils costs £1.50 and provides 10 servings. A tin of mackerel costs £1 and delivers more omega-3 than a salmon fillet at 8 times the price. A 500 grams bag of frozen broccoli costs £1 and retains more vitamins than fresh broccoli that's been sitting on the shelf for days. The health consequences are equally stark. Diets rich in these foods have been linked to lower rates of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and even dementia. They stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, support gut health, and protect brain function. Not because they're magic, but because they're real food, minimally processed, nutrient-dense, and proven by decades of research. Yet millions of British households skip them entirely, convinced by marketing that health requires expensive supplements, trendy superfoods, or branded products with flashy labels. Here's what you should start doing. Build your weekly shop around whole foods first. Oats for breakfast, yogurt for snacks, lentils and frozen vegetables for dinner, tinned fish for quick lunches. Only then fill the gaps with convenience items if needed. What to avoid? Anything with a long ingredient list, anything marketed as light or diet, and anything where sugar appears in the first three ingredients. The biggest revelation isn't that these foods are healthy. It's that they've been available all along, sitting quietly on UK supermarket shelves, ignored while shoppers chase expensive alternatives that deliver less. Oats, yogurt, olive oil, tinned fish, lentils, dark chocolate, frozen vegetables, brown rice, and eggs. 9 foods, each backed by decades of science, each available for pennies per serving, each capable of genuinely improving your health. The key takeaway is this: health isn't complicated, and it isn't expensive. It's just been buried under layers of marketing designed to convince you otherwise. Awareness matters now more than ever, because the gap between what's profitable and what's healthy has never been wider. But now you know, and knowledge, when applied, is the most powerful tool you have. So here's my question: which of these 9 foods are you already buying, and which have you been walking past for years? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd genuinely like to know. If you found this useful, subscribe. We don't chase trends or push products. We uncover the hidden truths behind everyday UK foods, one story at a time, and we do it without the noise. Next time you're in Tesco, Aldi, or Sainsbury's, remember, the healthiest basket isn't the most expensive one. It's the one built on knowledge. See you in the next investigation.